Hiya folks, Simon here, welcome back to the channel. I was very happy to pick this thing up over Christmas. This is the DJI Mini 2, my first ever drone. So I wanted a new hobby to maybe start getting into because of the whole lockdown thing and the whole world situation. And I thought this would be a good adventure to go on. So the weather in the UK over the last couple of weeks has not been ideal. It's been very cloudy, very cold, frosty, even snow. So not perhaps the best time in the year to actually start a new drone hobby, but hey, we do what we must. So yeah, I'm not an expert pilot, never flown one of these things before I picked this thing up. Had a bit of practice with it, and I've got to say I've been having a lot of fun. So I'm going to take this out today, take you guys with me, and we'll see what we can see from the sky. Now, I will say it's a little bit cloudy out there, and there is a frost on the ground. I think the temperatures are between about -1 and -4 right now. So very cold, colder than the operating recommendations for the temperatures of this drone actually are. So I need to bear that in mind, but also a little bit colder than my own operating temperatures as well. Don't handle it very well, so I need to dress up before we pop outside. But what we're going to do is just, take the drone into the air, have a little bit of a fly around my own property so that you can see what the drone is capable of. Now, there are some regulations here in the UK as to how and where you can fly these things. I'll just show it to you first of all. So as you can see, it's very small, 249 grams. Now, drones that are over 250 grams have a lot more regulation than drones that are under 250 grams. So if you are going to be looking at getting a drone, I would actually recommend a drone like this one, especially if you're in the UK, but I believe in most other parts of the world as well, such as, the US and what have you, and across Europe. Drones that are under 250 grams are just going to be a lot more easier to understand the regulations as to where and when you can fly. So, for example, with this drone, you still have the standard height limits and distance limits. You need to keep the drone in line of sight, but you are allowed, for example, to fly over uninvolved people, whereas drones that are bigger than 250 grams, you cannot. So things like that. Now, I have got my operator and flyer ID, so I'm fully licensed now for this thing. It cost me £9 to get the operator ID, and that renews annually. So not a hard thing to do, but just something else to bear in mind. So I think we're all good to go. Let's pack things up and take the Mini 2 outside in the cold British weather. Come on. Now that I've popped outside then, starting to regret it a little bit. It is cold. The good thing is though, a bit of blue sky started to show up. Not a lot, but the fog from this morning seems to have dissipated, at least for now. So don't know that for you though, it is very, very chilly, very cold. So we'll see how long I can last and how long the drone can last, since, as I say, it's not rated for these sort of minus temperatures. But if I just come down here, the field a little bit gives us a nice open space to fly around in and to have a bit of a play about. So let's get things set up. See you in a moment. Okay, so got the drone here. What I've done to try and just, help us along a little bit is keep the battery that we're going to be using for the drone just in my pocket for about 20 minutes, just to keep it a little bit warmer, because the thing with the temperatures here and how they affect the drone, the lower temperatures, it's the battery, as far as I understand, that's going to suffer the most. So if I can keep that warm just for the time being, it should give us just a good helping head start as we try and get this thing up into the air. So there's the drone, pop it down there for the moment, and I've got the controller. My phone will go in this, and then the way this works is that the antenna is here, and your phone will just fit into this space here and plug in to the cable. In my case, an iPhone, so we have the lightning cable, but it does come with a multitude of other connections as well, depending on which phone you're going to be using. Now for the drone itself, we take the props protector off, put that down, and then it's just a case of opening the props in the order that it tells you. 1, 2, and well, that's just it. 1 there, and then the props on the bottom, just like that. And then we do take the gimbal protector off. The gimbal on this thing is absolutely fantastic, but it is very delicate, so we do need to use the gimbal protector at all times when we're not flying the drone, just so we don't damage that thing. Right, I'll pop this down on the mat. All the mat does is keep the propellers safe so they don't get caught up in the grass and what have you. And at this stage, actually, I need to pop the battery in. which fits in to the back just there. Simple. One of the downsides perhaps is that there's no cover for the USB port and where the SD card slots into the back of this drone, so you can't really fly this thing in rainy or wet weather because it's clearly not waterproof because of that. So just bear that in mind. Although despite no cover, I've never had an SD card fall out of this thing. It does click in quite nicely. So just before we start recording our video here, I'm just going to see that all our settings are correct. So max altitude is set to 393 feet. The max altitude you can fly a drone in the UK is 400. Okay, right, let's start recording there. And without any further ado, let's take off. So to take off, you can do so manually by pulling the sticks in, or you can just tap the button on the left hand side and then hold the takeoff button. And then away we go. There we go, look. Just like magic, eh? Right, so what we're going to do then to start with is get some height on this thing. And we use the left stick to do that. And we can also drop the gimbal down if we want to. I'll take it to about 60 feet to start with. And we'll look at getting just a better shot there. And just have a quick scan, quick panorama scan of the landscape. So we're currently directly above our field. Perhaps we can just start by flying to the end of our field. I'm just going to raise it to about 80 feet though. That's more than enough not to hit anything. But, you know, I want to try and err on the side of caution more than anything. And there it goes. What a beautiful drone. Absolutely amazing, it really is. And I can still see it in the sky, just hovering there, like a little birdie. I can't hear it from this distance though, 350 feet. But anyway, let's go for a little fly now because I'm getting cold, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to last. Quite fortunate actually, there's not much in the way of wind today. So let's head over the trees here. I'm just going to drop the gimbal and raise the height. Raise it to about 150 feet, which is about 50 metres or thereabouts. And yeah, let's go for an adventure, see what we can find. It's, I'd say, so much fun this is. I've only brought the drone out a few times, but I'm really looking forward to getting this thing places. So this area below us is known as the Woodland Trust. It's a public walk space. Where a lot of people around the area take their dogs and that for exercise. A lot of brave people out in the cold today. It's interesting, when you're out there visiting the Woodland Trust, it's like a massive forest thing. It's incredible, but looking at it from above, such a small space. You really do not notice these things. Cool. Okay, let's keep moving. Head across the fields. As you can see, in a very rural area. If I angle this right, as in to the right but also correctly, then we should be able to see the closest city to us, yes. You can see in the distance there, the urban environment, and those pointy things sticking up closer to the horizon, that's the local cathedral, historic building that is centuries old. I'd say about 3 miles away from this location. So I wouldn't expect that we'd be able to get anywhere near that, nor would I really want to do so. But let's just raise the height a little bit. So the general rule is that if you want to keep a better signal, you want to go higher. But bear in mind, at the higher levels, the higher altitudes, you're going to have more wind. And this being a small drone, it's not the best when it comes to handling the the vibrancy of the wind. You can very easily lose it to a gust if you're not careful. That's not happened to me, I want to point that out, but it could do. Let's just keep lifting it a little bit higher. So we can see the RC signals getting just a tad low there. I've actually lost picture. I believe that's probably something to do with that house or building that we just passed. it's likely that there was some kind of Wi-Fi signal interference. But what will happen is that when you lose signal, the drone's going to automatically return to home. So hopefully, even though it's a little bit of a worrying situation that I can't see anything right now, yet we can see that the return to home function, now that the signal's back, has automatically engaged. And the drone is flying to the return to home altitude in order to make its way back to us. So just to clarify, this drone can go much further than 2,730 feet, which is the distance we got to. But the cold weather, coupled with the fact that there seemed to be just a little bit of interference today, meant that we couldn't get as far as perhaps we otherwise would have liked. What I'm going to do is cancel the return to home itself, if I can. It's hard to do with gloves. And then just bring the drone back myself, just so we don't get that annoying bleeping sound. Drop the height a little bit. I don't think we need 300 plus feet. But as you can see, a little bit of a hairy moment there, losing all signal and connection. But thanks to DJI's, robust features that they've built in and contingency features, it meant that we're not going to lose the drone as easily as that. So it is just going to make itself back to the home point. But that's important. Every time you launch the drone, you do only do so once it's confirmed that the home point has been established, since that's going to be integral then for that particular flight. 1% there. So maybe we could just take a little detour. The field with the lone tree that we just saw is the home point. That's our field. So I can see that there are some other houses and that. And yeah, I'm assuming it's the cold weather. The signal dropout is a little bit more than what I'm used to. But it is freezing today, so I think that's understandable. We're about 1,100 feet, just coming up to 1,200 feet away from our home location. So you can see a few more buildings, houses and properties. Just a little bit over there, over the way, so I don't want to get too close to them. Not only because I'd probably lose signal if I did so, if we do get too close, but I don't want to annoy people and invade their privacy. With a drone of this size, you actually are allowed to fly over uninvolved people because it's under 250 grams, but just because you're legally allowed to do something doesn't mean you have to do it. And yeah, if I was getting some urban shots, then that's different. But I'm not. We're just going out for a little test flight here in the cold weather. So I've got no reason to bother people. Okay, some pretty cool shots there, the landscape. And this is just a smidgen of what this drone can do. It really is just a smidgen. So as soon as we're over the home point, we can start dropping it down. And I can hear it now. There we go. So that battery has gone down a little bit fast. Again, doesn't surprise me, the cold weather. And even though I kept it warm in my pocket, obviously once it was up in the air, it was going to start chilling pretty much almost immediately. But yeah, I really do love this. I have so much fun with this thing. Anyway, let's start dropping it down now. So just at 220 feet. Yeah, I can see the little fella coming down. Here he comes. Hey? How you doing, little fella? Right, let's try and get this thing landed, shall we? And I'm doing a manual land here, so I can't promise this is going to be the smoothest experience. It's very good at landing, though, in all honesty. Come on, nearly. On the blue. Oh, I missed the landing pad. So near, yet so far. All right then, guys. Well, there we have it then. The test flight of my DJI Mavic Mini. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I think we're back at just the right time because I am absolutely freezing cold. So need to go and get my feet warmed up, I think. Get a nice cup of tea. You guys know me. But yeah, if you folks have enjoyed this video, then please do just drop a like. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more content like this. You know, I've enjoyed making this, so I hope you guys do. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody. Say goodbye, Mr. Droney. See ya.